Hello, everyone. My name is Kareem Bailey, and today I'll be speaking on behalf of my group about the well-known photographer Paul Strand. We begin with his biography. His full name is Nathaniel Paul Stransky, but a lot of people know him by Paul Strand. He was born October 16th in 1890 in New York City. He is of Jewish descent, and he actually passed away March 31st, 1967 at age 85 in France. So how did the artist come to making photographs? At age 12, he actually received his first camera from his father. He joined the photography club after graduating the high school at the Ethical Cultural School. This club was actually organized by Louis W. Hine, who is a renowned social documentarian. Eventually, he actually took a club trip to visit the 291 Gallery in Manhattan, where he later met Alfred Stieglitz, who actually inspired him in his work, which later paved the way for him to becoming an artist in photography at age 17. So how he found his own photographic style. He began to experiment with diffused light and soft focus lenses in an attempt to stress the aesthetic properties of photography and make his images look just like paintings. He later began to work with straight photography, and he also started to work with candid camera techniques as well, which, as you can see in a lot of his images that will show off, a lot of his subjects tend to not look at the camera, but they're looking away instead. So one quote we found by him was, "I suddenly got the idea of making portraits of people the way you see them in New York parks, sitting around, not posing, not conscious of being photographed." So this is just a video we wanted to show. It's about 4 minutes long, but I'm only going to show about a minute just because it gives you a breakdown of his methods of photography and just kind of shows you a lot of his different photos and techniques. And we thought it was very important to just show off. So I'll begin real quick.
Paul Strand is one of the great photographers of the 20th century. His career spanned almost the whole of the 20th century. He was born in 1890 and died in the 1970s. And so his career covers a wide range of places, types of people and styles in photography that are still highly relevant today. Strand's photographs were collected during his lifetime at the V&A, but there hasn't been an exhibition in the UK for nearly 40 years, so we felt it was time to show the vintage prints in the collections here and include them alongside photographs from the touring exhibition, which has been organised by the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Strand really changed the face of photography in the early years of the 20th century. So at the time that most photographers making artistic photography were making photographs that looked like impressionist paintings, Strand was out making quite uncompromising, hard-edged, tough-looking pictures that he felt were appropriate for the modern machine age.
All right, so I'm going to stop right there. Move on to the next slide. All right, so these are the photographs we actually found by him, just 4 of them. So I'll begin by this quote: "I felt that one could get a quality of being through the fact that the person did not know he was being photographed." So as you could see from these photos that the focus of the photos, they're not looking directly into the camera, they're actually looking away, which kind of made the photos even stronger and more impactful. Right, so other media usage, he actually was just mainly recognized for his modernist photography. These consisted of portraits and many close-ups of random objects. But this was not the only medium he stuck to. He also took an interest in filmmaking as well. A film that he produced and directed was known as Rage, which came out in 1935. The movie was eventually given English subtitles and released as The Wave. So personal historic events that contributed to his work in photography. He was actually accepted into the inner circle of 291 in 1916, and this led to the recognition of his photographs by Stieglitz. He was actually in the Army Medical Corps as well, and this kind of created a large impact on his approach to reality and his way of seeing things. He received his education at the Ethical and Cultural School, which was embodied by the scientific and social outlook of the Reform era. He actually eventually spent a summer in Gas Peninsula in Quebec, where he shot his first photographs of open expanses, and these definitely made a huge impact in his work. So why do scholars think his work is noteworthy? Through the film and photography, Paul Strand used these methods to comment on social issues such as the Mexican Revolution and industrialization in the US. Strand used straight photography to objectively capture his subjects without them knowing in order to get the raw feelings and emotions. So a couple quotes we found as well. I'll begin with the first one, Strand's Street Portraits from 1916, which investigate the nature of private experiences in public, are his most innovative explorations of this idea and his most famous photographs. And then the next one is Looking Back in 1967, the great muralist David Alfaro Siqueiros claimed that, like Sergei Eisenstein, who preceded him, Strand made an outstanding contribution, notably with his film Wraiths, a work of dynamic realism, emotional intensity, and social outlook. It is a masterpiece, a classic of the Mexican and by extension of the Latin American milieu. This is equally true of the photographs that make up the Mexican portfolio. And then, so why do we think his work is noteworthy? So Paul Strand's work is actually authentic and very unique. He captures precious moments of people that depict authentic emotion and facial expressions. Strand's photographic style is straight and objective. He doesn't allow his emotions and perceptions to get in the way of his photographs exactly, just to see exactly what is in front of him. Strand's work uses social issues as a universal theme. This is due, he presents to the world photographs of people that we don't often see, and it makes us aware of the issues going around us. So that actually concludes our presentation. And then we have the bibliography at the end and all the sources we used. Thank you guys.